Hello!
Hello!
We are on our way to Zanzibar!
Coming up in today's episode.
They changed our gate, so that's fun. So we are sort of running off. So yes, very interesting experience, not necessarily for us as tourists because there were hawkers all over, where we then took the boat again to go to the famous Nakupenda Island. Nakupenda means love in Swahili. So from here we basically then took the boat first off to go to the dolphins, which was great but also not great because this sea was really rough. But from here on, as you can't go directly onto Mnemba Island because it's a private island belonging to Bill Gates, we could only go onto the sandbank right next to it, which was absolutely stunning.
We're Quentin and DNA,
two guys trying to visit 40 countries before we turn 40.
We're taking the world on by trying to explore different countries, cultures, food, and by being as adventurous as possible.
We decided to film all of this for our future selves to look back on for one day when we are older. So let's go on a Kiwi travel adventure. Jumbo Future Quentin
and Jumbo Future DNA,
and to all our friends and family watching, and today we're going to Zanzibar! So let's start off with our Stone Town part of the Zanzibar tour. So first off, we obviously headed to the airport. We were very excited, and yes, then we went to the diner, literally called the diner, which had the best pizza ever. So we just decided from now on forth, whenever we're traveling, definitely going to have pizza there before we go anywhere else.
And milkshake.
And milkshakes, yes, definitely, because milkshakes anywhere else in the world not the same as in South Africa. That's a fact. So yes, and then we headed to the airplane, which we were late for, sort of, because they changed the gate. Well, that just happened. We were sort of late, but not really. They changed our gate, so that's fun. So we are sort of running off to our plane as they changed the gate, but we are still on time, I guess. Yeah! Here we go! Then we jetted off to Zanzibar, arrived there very late at night. We just went straight to the hotel, straight to bed so that we could wake up the next morning.
This is the beautiful view from the hotel's rooftop where we had our breakfast every morning.
We are having breakfast, yeah, and this but okay, either way.
10 seconds later.
It's not going away. What kind of a breakfast, but in any case, so this is what we are having this morning. So yeah.
The beautiful thing about the hotel we stayed at, the Golden Tulip Boutique Hotel, is that it had all the unique and beautiful finishings of everything Stone Town, starting with the beautiful Zanzibar door, which gives you the beautiful detail of the people that would normally be inside the household. And then the part we enjoyed the most was the beautiful artwork down the hallways as you would reach your room, which was absolutely stunning.
Awesome. So our first excursion then in Stone Town was to Prison Island, which was about a 20-minute boat ride all the way through to Prison Island, which had stunning views of the beautiful waters that we started seeing that Zanzibar is famous for the first time. There was beautiful dhow boats that were going by as well as the many boats that we went with as well. And then we arrived at the beautiful Prison Island, which had like a little beach, which was beautiful, but it is actually divided, Prison Island, into 3 different parts. The first of which we went to see was the turtles. So with the turtles, they were actually given there by someone from the Seychelles, because yes, these tortoises come from the Seychelles. We were actually able to feed them as well. So they are actually put on this island to clean the entire island. So yes, they are huge. I think the oldest one is about 100 years old. So that was quite interesting to see, as well as the little babies that they have there as well. And then we went to the second part that the island is divided into, which is the guardhouse. So at the guardhouse, this is basically where they stayed, where they had their lunch, their food and so forth. So obviously there was a guardhouse because they were prisoners as well. So they had their own separate section over here which you can see, which was quite interesting to see. And we had our guide, which just wanted to take photos everywhere with us. And then we went off to the prison side of the island.
Alright, here is a lovely section where we would normally see where they would have their different meals per day. And we also had a glimpse of the different jail cells that they lived in. And what was very, very interesting is that they would go to the edge of the island to go to the bathroom.
And from there on, we just had a quick stroll on the beach again at Prison Island, where we then took the boat again to go to the famous Nakupenda Island. Nakupenda means love in Swahili, and it really is a beautiful island. This was something that I particularly wanted to do very badly. So yes, we were there. It's basically just one big sandbank where all the tourists go to. You are in the middle of the ocean on the sandbank with beautiful waters. Obviously we took some pictures, we swam a bit there, which was also interesting, and then they gave us some food, which was lovely.
We had a beautiful seafood platter which included octopus, fish, chips, prawns, lobster and calamari, and they also served us the most delicious variety of fruits, which was simply amazing. After food we spent some time on the beach, went swimming, and then we went back to Stone Town.
So it was just a beautiful view of Stone Town as we got there again. We actually took a walking tour of Stone Town, but we didn't take any footage of this because we would have done Stone Town the next day. So we just wanted to take everything in that the tour guide told us. But from there on we went to Mercury Restaurant for dinner. So we are having some masala chips.
Extremely hot. Oh my god, too hot. Great potato.
Here we go, having some pizza, but this is not the traditional Zanzibar pizza, no? We'll get to that tomorrow, right? It's a bit hot, it's a wood fire. This is the chipolata. Nice, good quality. So it's basically beef and some pineapple beef sausage. Basically a Vienna.
The next day we started our personal tour and we went straight to Dorojani market. At the market everything is divided into different sections, so all the animals that could fly, as the tour guide said, there would be one side, seafood a different side, and the meat all on one side. They also had a fruit and veg section, the spice section of course, and then the clothing market.
And this is actually where the locals come to get the food, as there are no convenience stores. So you literally have to go to each of these different stalls to go and get whatever you want. So yes, very interesting experience, not necessarily for us as tourists because there were hawkers all over, which was not nice, but yes, still very interesting for us because that's the kind of tourists that we are. We want to explore the different things of the town. So from here on we went to go to all the different various landmarks that Stone Town has to offer, which there are so many of. The first of which we went to was the Emerson Spice Hotel, which was beautiful and has got beautiful architecture, and this is also the very first hotel that is situated in Stone Town. And from there on we went to the Anglican Church and the slave market.
Before they built the Anglican Church, it was actually a slave market. Where the church is located today, underneath it was the dungeon where they would normally keep all the slaves, and the next day they would sell them. It was extremely
depressing.
Yes, to even think that people would live like that, and there was actually no room for any normal human body to properly stand. So that was just horrible.
So basically what the English did was they built the church on top of the slave market, and then after that they kept like a little memorial site for all those that were part of the slave trade, and this then also sealed and marked the end of the slave trade in the whole of Africa. From there on we went to Lukman. So Lukman's is basically a restaurant in Stone Town that only serves Swahili food. Now this was a very interesting experience.
Now we had a lovely view of the street because we again took the rooftop to have our meal, and our meal included date milkshake, Indian chicken curry, we had different types of bread, ita naan, chipata and roti, and we also had the chicken kebab skewers with biryani.
Thereafter, we went to Joe's Corner, so on our way to exploring the rest of Stone Town. Now, Joe's Corner is basically where all the men got together back in the day and where they would have a meeting amongst men, play some games, and this was also very interesting to see. And then from here on, we went to the famous St. Joseph's Cathedral. So this is also probably the most famous, or one of the most famous of Stone Town at this stage, because it literally stands out above the rest of Stone Town. So absolutely beautiful architecture. Just sad that we couldn't go in as it is closed, but it was also a beautiful sight. And from there on,
we went shopping for a bit of clothing items and some gifts for family members.
And from here on, we went to the Freddie Mercury Museum.
Now, the Freddie Mercury house, the original house that he was born in and raised, is actually situated next door to the museum. In the museum itself, you would get a beautiful introduction of the history of Zanzibar, the birth of Freddie Mercury with a beautiful birth certificate. As you walk through the museum, it takes you through these different stages. You get to see where Queen starts off, and you see all the handwritten lyrics by Freddie himself. You get some beautiful pictures of his time spent with the band, personal images here and there, clothing items of him that he wore in actual shows, and a beautiful television clip of some of the highlights of his tours.
So from here on, we went to the Old Fort, which is basically one of the first buildings they ever built in Stone Town. Now, this was absolutely beautiful to see, as it is just a beautiful architectural piece. It was used for various different things throughout its years. So yes, there was just these beautiful things to see, and us walking right at the top of the Old Fort, which was absolutely stunning. They had some art exhibitions there, which was also interesting to see. And then from here on, we also went through and we saw the amphitheater. So the amphitheater was built a bit later during these stages, but it was still awesome to see, especially as we are theater lovers. And then we just went and had a drink because it was a long day just walking around.
And after our drinks, we went down to see to the pier to see the children, the local children that would normally do their acrobats, jumping into the water and just putting on a beautiful show for the visitors. Thereafter, it was time for the food market, and we made our way to try everything.
So we are about to try the famous Zanzibar pizza. Here we go. It's nice. Something else. It's different. It tastes like a breakfast omelette kind of a thing. So it's basically got onions and
Tomato, green peppers,
mint, mayonnaise,
cream cheese.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some sugarcane juice. So he's making the sugarcane, as you can see over here. So we're going.
Order for me.
Special order you've got?
And sugarcane.
Lemon and sugarcane, and this is ginger, lemon, and sugarcane. There we go. That's so nice. Approved. So we are continuing our street food tour here at Forodani Street food market.
And we've got Alibaba.
There, just behind Vienna, Alibaba. So this is what we're having, so let's try it out. This is chicken shawarma, eh?
Yeah. With no chili.
It's definitely foreign, but it's a sauce. It's got a very different kind of a sauce. It's not a normal kind of a sauce. Let's see Vianney's reaction while I enjoy the sugarcane juice.
10 seconds later.
So we've decided to try another shawarma, this time from this guy, because everybody's getting chicken from him. So we thought we'll try it again, since the other one didn't work.
And here we go.
This is the one.
Okay. Here we go.
Very nice. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't end up on that other note. This is the one.
Fantastic.
The next day we went on our spice tour, and this is also the day we went to Nungwi. So, but first we went on a spice tour, which is a very famous thing to do because Zanzibar is basically the spice trade of Africa, and especially more the east, as this was one of the main stops. And being here, we could actually see why. So we tasted and smelled all the different kinds of fruits, spices that they have right here. And this was absolutely an incredible experience, even though we didn't expect it to be.
After our entire tour of everything, they gave us coconuts, made us these beautiful hats, palm hats with matching ties, and they showed us how they traditionally would climb the trees to get coconuts.
And together with this, they basically started singing the Zanzibar song, which you hear all over the moment you are there. So this was also very cool to see and hear and experience. And this basically brings us to the end of the Spice Tour. And
so directly after our Spice Tour, we went to our accommodation at Nungwi Beach, which is called Chica Chica B&B Guest House. This was a beautiful laid-back bar type of situation. And our room was exquisite because it was very simplistic with very minimalistic Zanzibar decor, and it really was just a beautiful place that invited you to completely relax.
But the best part of this place was two things. First thing, the restaurant, which we'll get to a bit later. But the second thing is it's basically right on the beach. So it basically took us about 15 seconds to walk in. We were on this beautiful, beautiful beach, and this is what it looked like the day we got there. This was also the day it looked the most incredible. This is really such an awesome beach with these beautiful, beautiful blue waters, which we absolutely loved. Then from there on, we went to a Luna restaurant, which is literally right next to it. So we spent the rest of the day here just enjoying the beautiful views, relaxing there, having something to drink, something to eat, and just having an all-time good relaxing first day of a typical Zanzibar day, which was awesome. And then we went and had dinner at the restaurant where we stayed at, which is
Doki Doki restaurant at Chica Chica B&B Guest House. And the food we tried that evening was the seafood platter, and it was delightfully beautiful. It really was wonderful. We had prawn, we had octopus, calamari, seagull, and lobster, and it really was absolutely delightful. And the way they served it was with a more herb kind of effect with this beautiful lemon butter sauce, and it really was just amazing.
Good morning. It is a new day in the workroom, and we are on our way further up the beach on Nungwi. And we are going to Mnemba Island today. Hopefully the weather clears up a little bit so that we can have some sun on Mnemba Island. So yes, this is the big part of the entire tour. So hopefully we get to see it all. Hopefully we get to see some dolphins. And yes, perfect coral reefs. So yes, here we go. So from here we basically then took the boat first off to go to the dolphin. So it basically was an extremely rough boat ride. So this is something that I was wanting to do for my whole life, bucket list tick, which was great but also not great because this sea was really rough. I literally fed the dolphins basically with my vomit, which was terrible. I got so seasick. It was really terrible for once, and I didn't get as sick as I did. I really did. So I wasn't able to physically jump in, but we were able to get one shot at least of the dolphins. So that was absolutely incredible. So we did sort of swim with them, which was absolutely awesome. And then from there on, we went to Mnemba Island finally to go snorkeling.
Snorkeling here was absolutely amazing because the water was so clear and there were so many different types of fish and the beautiful coral rocks. It really was just amazing, and the water itself, the temperature, it's just so wonderful. You don't want to leave the water. So that was a pretty beautiful welcome to the island itself and having our very first proper snorkeling experience. It really was absolutely amazing.
Because the previous time we went snorkeling, we also got seasick, and that was back in Thailand. So this was a lot better. But from here on, as you can't go directly onto Mnemba Island because it's a private island, we could only go onto the sandbank right next to it, which was absolutely stunning. The water here was the best we've ever seen, even better than in Thailand. The clearest, the bluest water ever. It's got like a turquoise kind of a color, aqua kind of a color, which was absolutely stunning. So we just walked around here, and then Vianney and I literally got into the water and started swimming, and we couldn't stop swimming. They literally, the people from the boat that we went there with literally had to come and take us out of the water because we didn't want to stop swimming. because the tide was getting high again, so the sandbanks started closing off and we just couldn't stop swimming because that's just how incredible that water was. And the water is warm. It literally is warm. It's not even lukewarm, it's warm.
It's warm.
So that was absolutely incredible. Best day ever. Definitely worth it. If you can go one day,
definitely go.
Do it. Even if you get seasick on the way.
Yes. When we were done now for the day at Mnemba, they took us back, but en route back to the shore, they took us to go starfish touring. So they would take us to this part of the island where there was all these different types of huge starfish. It really was so beautiful that they took them out of the water only for a few minutes, and so we could take pictures, and then we had to put them back. So that was a beautiful experience. And then we went back to shore.
And then we went back to our B&B and the restaurant we stayed at, because their food is just the best. Literally of the entire island. If ever you can go there as well. And so there we had a tapas platter, which again was absolutely incredible for a very good price. Well, not very good, cheap. It was cheap.
It really was cheap. And everything is freshly made. It really is top quality food.
And then that evening we went for dinner on the beach once again. So that's basically what you do in Zanzibar, to sum it up. If we have to sum it up, you basically go to the beach, you eat on the beach, you eat seafood. So everything to do with the beach. But yes, we went for dinner on the beach again, which was absolutely incredible. They had some fire there as well on the beach. And we also had our very first Kilimanjaro beer. So we are trying the local beer like we do in every country. So Vianney, here we go. Today is Kilimanjaro, the local beer of Tanzania.
For the first sip,
I think it's going to be a strong one.
smells like castle light.
Casa Light.
One of those things.
Let's try it out, y'all.
Like a brew.
Like a brew. Yeah, it does, eh?
One of those.
Interesting. Still not a beer lover. Good morning. It is a new day in the workroom.
And we are off to Sunset Beach for a day under the day base.
Yes, in Kendwa. So we are busy on our tuk-tuk on the way through the village of Nungwi. And let's go enjoy a lazy day, reading books and playing games, boa, and just enjoying a lazy day in Kendwa. It was probably also one of our best days, as we just took a lazy day with the most beautiful view. We just spent there the entire day. We just read some books, played some games, and we just spent the whole day in the sun. We went swimming, we went walking along the beach.
We had lunch, again pizza, which was amazing. We were treated by these performances by these local acrobats, and we also saw the different dough boats coming in and out every time. They had this beautiful drum music that they did, and it was just really amazing reading and just doing absolutely nothing and taking in these incredible views.
Speaking of views, the best part of this evening was swimming into the sunset, which was absolutely incredible. We just swam into the sunset with the dough boats coming past and the sun setting down, and this entire view of sunset while us swimming in these beautiful waters. It was just the perfect end to a beautiful day, typical Zanzibar day. Hello, it is a new day in the workroom, and today is our last day. But we are going to go and swim with turtles now. Hopefully Vianney swims with. We'll see. And we're going to go and explore some sandbanks today, and going back to Stone Town as well. And yeah, let's see how the day pans out.
So as we arrived into the aquarium, our first view was the babies. So it was all these babies that you see here that came from one mother. So that was quite wonderful. They stayed there normally up until 7-8 months, and then they go into the big pool to live with the others. We had a shower because we needed to get rid of all the chemicals, and then we went for a dip with the turtles and we fed them.
So this was a very cool and interesting experience, something I've always wanted to do again. I didn't really go in, Vienna also didn't really go in because it was quite scary, because I think the thing that got us was some of these turtles were extremely big. They were seriously big. So some of them were about 1 meter, 1.2 meters big, and they would be coming swimming up to you like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them at a time. But it was also just again an awesome experience just to be with these beautiful creatures.
Then we had a quick stop at Nungwi Beach, had a drink so that we could prepare ourselves for the great search of the hidden sandbank. We are exploring the hidden bits of Nungwi in Zanzibar, Tanzania. As you can see, we are walking on the beach.
And the tide is very far back.
Extremely far back. And we are in search of a hidden sandbank.
Somewhere. Yeah. But let's see if we can find it.
10 seconds later.
So we have walked what?
An hour?
No, not an hour. About 20 minutes, and finally we think we are seeing the sandbank right over there somewhere. Right over there. We hope that's it. But it still looks like a 15-minute walk maybe. So yeah, I'm running a bit against time because obviously there's the tides. If this tide comes back up, we won't be able to get back.
20 minutes later.
Guys, look at this. Just check this beautiful sandbank. We are in the middle of the ocean on this massive sandbank, and it just looks incredible. So we just spent the rest of the day here at this beautiful sandbank. Truly an awesome experience. We were the only people, which was absolutely incredible. Just the two of us on the sandbank in the middle of the ocean. And yes, it took us very long. In total, I think 35 minutes just to walk there, 35 minutes just to get back, but definitely worth it. Got sunburned all over again.
Yes.
But such an awesome experience. Was definitely, if you can go in search of the sandbank, awesome experience, do it, because you are literally alone there on the beach by yourself with these incredible views which you won't get anywhere else. Never thought we'd actually see something like that in our lives, but we did. And then from there on, we just took a rest of a chill day, read some books on the beach, and then from there on, we went back to Stone Town. And from here on, we basically went back to the airport, which was about 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 at night, which was also an interesting experience because it's a very small airport, so we didn't expect a lot, but it was still interesting to see because they've got some beautiful detail and architecture to it, but an awesome end. So Vienna, what would you say are the highlights of the tour?
This was definitely the very first full-on beach holiday, do nothing but be at the beach. So that experience in itself was wonderful, and I really love the fact that I said yes to everything.
But yes, for me as well, awesome experience. I think just to have a proper beach experience, like I said, it was definitely the most beautiful water we've ever seen anywhere. So yes, people would definitely go there. In general, the Zanzibar experience for me was a typical African experience. We said it a lot to each other while we were there. It's just sad that they don't really capitalize on what they've got, because obviously people go there for the beach like we did as well. But there are so many things that, I don't know, maybe the tourism board of Tanzania can maybe work on, like the roads, terrible. Really, there's basically no roads except for when you are in basically Stone Town. And there are just so many things to help the people because they are really poor. You can see it there.
See that. And taking full advantage of experiences like the Freddie Mercury experience. They could have made more of that. They could have sold some merchandise there that you can have. Nowhere can you find a Freddie Mercury shirt. There was one tank top we got, but it was not hard. It was horrible. But there is not much about that. So there really is. And with the fort, they could really turn that into a full-blown market and aid the people there.
So we really think they can just capitalize a bit more on certain things. But again, on the other hand, it's a typical African country, so they won't really do it. But yes, all in all, good experience. Would we go back? We would, for the beach. Just if you want to have a beach holiday, that's the place to go and do it. So until next time, we'll see you in Doha!
Next time on Kiwi Travel Adventures.
Before we got to Box Park, we lost my phone.
From these beautiful multicolored containers at the Box Park, we took a stroll down to the view of the city skyline, but the most impressive, the wow of the day arrived there,
Which is the souk wakif.